How's this? How's the shape of the hood now? Because I've pulled it forward to get the mic in. Yeah, good, okay. Started to notice the change in the colours and the richness of everything, and the sounds were different depending on the season. And straight after rainfall as well, you've got this kind of intensity of the dark barks and the subtle rainfall dripping off the buds, and noticing the colour of the moss and the lichen in winter as well. You know, you assume that spring and summer are the most colourful seasons, but when you really look into winter, there's a real new palette of colour. Hi, I'm Andy, and I'm here in the Asher Centre today, a very special place to me here in the Forest of Dean. Just down the road from here is where my journey to become a breathwork instructor began. I've lived here for about 17 years now in the forest. I moved here from Reading. I'd lived in the town for probably 20 years. And coming into nature, it took me a little while to really feel comfortable and go into the depths of nature. And I found going out into nature every day with my dog really awakened something in me as well. As a photographer, taking my camera in and getting closer and closer to nature, noticing the detail. There's a beautiful spring water. This whole valley is full of bursting springs of natural water, which I've been drinking for over 5 years now. And around that time, 5 years ago, I took my first dip in St. Anthony's Well. A very special place to me. It's pretty cold in there, it's about 9–10 degrees, and the water emerges from the forest floor, and there's a beautiful, 8 by 10 foot, up to your chest deep, bathing area. Probably about 800 years old, who knows really, but it's just set in the middle of this beautiful forest, and I love going in there. It's really changed my life. I remember the first day I went in there, I was doing a photo shoot with a guy. He was performing a ritual, going in the water, and it really inspired me. That was the day I needed to get in. I just could feel it. It was a real shock to the system. I'd actually been quite low just before I got in, going through a big relationship breakup. That day changed the trajectory of the rest of my life. And I looked into the science behind cold water immersion, and I also looked into the science behind the breathwork, and I thought, how come people are not told about this? You know, I'm 50 odd years old, I don't even know how to breathe properly. I don't even know how to awaken my body. So there was a whole awakening for me and a whole journey that started to spiral out of that. When we come into this world, we take our first breath, and we literally take our last breath as we expire. Inspire comes from the same Latin root as inspiration, and that means to breathe in. And it's been a really interesting journey for me. By doing regular breathwork practice has really connected me to my breath, and the more connected to the breath I am, the more I'm able to use that in everyday life. You know, for instance, when I do feel stressed, or when I feel angry, or if I'm stuck in traffic. I first discovered Qigong just over 10 years ago. I was doing a Tai Chi class, and Qigong is part of Tai Chi. It's the kind of fundamental core of Tai Chi. Tai Chi is the martial expression of Qigong. What I really love about Qigong, it's one of these things that just takes you right into the present moment, I would say. It connects you with the breath, and it's very gentle movements connected with the breath. Just that part of it will take you into something really deep within yourself. There's a real stillness that you can find in that, or for me at least. Qigong seems to infiltrate your mindset. The more you practice it, the more it slows you down, the more you're connected with the breath and the present moment. For me, it's brought me into a state of acceptance. It's really slowed me down. It's enabled me to look at myself. It's enabled me to become more authentic. It's enabled me to have much more gratitude. And so you don't need to read books on Taoism. Just by doing the practice, it seems to sort of infiltrate and slowly encourage you to be, just to be. And the movements are slow. And for someone like me, you know, I'm creative, so I've always got ideas running in the back of my head, you know, and I run my own business, so there's always things to do, but for me it really is the flip side of that coin for me. It actually charges me up to be more creative. Switching off and switching down and switching into myself is really important for me. And I share Qigong with my breathwork class as well. I think the Qigong and the breathwork just go hand in hand so well. So just over a year ago, I had an amazing experience with this device. It was a light machine, a brain entrainment device, which using light and flickering rates of light tunes your brain to certain frequencies. And the experience itself is quite psychedelic. You close your eyes and you see these different coloured lights, and it just takes you into this whole other world. And yeah, it really blew my mind. And I was chasing that experience, but there's no way I could have afforded one of the things that was on the market. There's quite a few on the market and they're quite expensive. First got my Loom. I reached out to Joel, who makes the Loom, and we had a chat online, really connected, and he came along to one of my sessions here in this room. We did a breathwork session, some Qigong, and Joel brought some of his lights, and we shared them with my group. And I love how the lights work so well with my other practices that I'm sharing with other people. So I've had the Loom now for about 4 months, and it's become another one of my daily practices. I use it probably 5 times a week. When I first got it, I was waking up, putting it on, I was using it to go to bed, I was using it in the day, and now I'm dropping into a nice rhythm with it where I'm using it when I need it. I use it in the bath, I use it sometimes with breath work. Recently, as I was just saying, I was going through a real sense of self-doubt. You know, I was thinking my path's changed so much. I felt uncoupled and ungrounded. And I just had a session with a light as I was going to sleep, and it really helped still my mind. I think it was an alpha setting, very colourful. And yeah, it just switched off my mind and I went to sleep. Using the Loom every day has really changed how I engage with the experience. Initially I was chasing that psychedelic, colourful light bombardment as an entertainment, if nothing else. And it's beautiful to do that, but as my relationship deepens with it, it's kind of like, I don't see the lights. It's like I'm tuning in with the frequency. You know, the lights are happening, and at first I notice them, but there's moments that I almost disappear into a dream state, but I'm still there. And I have to like check in with myself and, yeah, I am still noticing the lights, but where have they gone? And that's something that's really nice that's happening. It's really making me appreciate the light. And I think I'm going a little bit deeper through it. I'm working through a barrier almost, where the need for the colours or the experience is less and less, and my body or the brain waves are tuning with what's supposed to be happening maybe. I had one experience with the gamma. It's probably one of the early times I'd used the gamma, and I was getting used to the Ripley side of it, and I'd just been to Morocco, and I was letting myself drop into the gamma state. There was these ripples, say here, but behind it, about a foot away behind it, that I was replaying the Marrakesh market, the bustle of the market, and I don't know where that came from, and I've not had that again, but there was this kind of film playing behind the ripples. That was quite nice. There's a spinning aspect to it. It's kind of like you're on an interplanetary exploration, and there's these spheres that are turning and spiraling around. There's a kaleidoscopic aspect to it. At certain angles, when I move my head, it sparks out from the center. I don't know if it's my position or my mood that changes it. Other times it's more like oil, drips, quite fluid. And what I really like as well, there's like smatterings of black cracked bits in there as well. You know, so it's impossible. I've actually looked on photo libraries and video stock libraries to try and find starting points so I can regenerate this. But I guess the experience is so individual, you know. I'm trying to explain my experience, but if somebody sat under a light right next to me and we listened to the same music, they probably have a different experience. And I think that's what's really nice as well. We can actually share those and try and communicate those with each other. So, and even the alpha, which is the most visually colourful, engaging bombardment of psychedelic overdrive, is different every time. Sometimes it's yellowy, sometimes it's yellow and green, sometimes it's reds and purples. So there's a real deepening of the relationship with the Loom and this light experience, and I think that's one of the benefits of having it in my life daily. And also I'm recognising when I might need it. you know, maybe if I can't, you know, when you're kind of really stressed and you can't actually dip into the practices, it's like somebody might say breathe and you just don't want to breathe because you're just so frustrated. And I've now got a whole multitude of tools in my kit. You know, I can do Qigong if I fancy that, or go for a bike ride, or now I can put on the Loom. And the Loom's there even if you're too tired to do the others. You can just, you might be ready for bed or even in bed, and I can just reach over, grab my Loom, pop it on, and have a really nice session. And it seems to be working for me. I've only just noticed that it really benefited me the other day when I was in a moment of, I guess I was in fight or flight. So I'm really curious about that, and it really keeps my interest level up as well. I never really question what's going on for me when I see those colours, but I just observe that there's a difference in that. So yeah, it's like, yeah, what we make of it and how we come to it could potentially change every single time we use it.